They lifted their glasses to celebrate what they called my failure. My father's tone was firm, rehearsed, like he'd practiced it in front of a mirror. Some kids make you proud, he said evenly. Others just take up space. My sister let out a laugh, sharp, clean, deliberate. My mother didn't correct him. She just smiled faintly at the tablecloth as if she were admiring its stitching. I didn't argue. I just stared at the empty plate in front of me and said quietly, "Good thing I got my own place 20 minutes away. From now on, the rent, the bills, and the insurance, those are on you." Then came silence, the kind that fills your head like deep water, pressing from all sides. My sister broke it first, smirking. "You can't even afford your own life, Mia." I smiled back. "You'll find out soon enough." They'd always acted like they owned me, like every degree I earned, every job I worked for, somehow belonged to them too. They paid for my first semester college and spent the next 8 years reminding me about it. "We gave you a chance." My father used to say, "Don't waste it." I didn't waste it. I built something. Quietly, privately. They thought I worked for a marketing firm. In truth, I'd started a small analytics company that grew faster than I ever dared to admit. They never asked how I managed the car, the apartment, or the peace of mind. They just assumed I was lying. And as always, the first betrayal didn't come from what they said, but from what they did. One night, my sister called, crying, "Dad needs your signature for a refinance," she said. "It's urgent." So I signed. I shouldn't have. A month later, the notice came. My name was tied to a $180,000 mortgage. Their mortgage. The same house they'd toasted me from that very night. When I confronted them, my father laughed. "Family helps family, Mia. That's how it works." My mother chimed in softly. "We just thought you'd understand." Understand? They'd use my credit to fund their comfort. And when I hesitated, I became the villain. "Ungrateful," my sister hissed. "We fed you." "Fed me?" "Yes, on guilt, manipulation, and expectations disguised as kindness." I didn't yell. I didn't threaten lawsuits. I just smiled, told them I needed time, and went home. That's when the plan started. A quiet, patient kind of revenge. The sort that doesn't scream, but waits. First, I rebranded my company under a new name. I moved every asset, restructured every account, erased every financial link between us. Then I called the bank. They'd used my signature without permission and forged income statements. That's fraud, and fraud leaves footprints. I handed the evidence over myself, documents, messages, even my sister's voicemail saying, "Just sign it, Mia." Dad said it's fine. That was all it took. For 6 months, silence. Then one morning, my father called. His voice was smaller this time. "They're taking the house," he said. "You did this." I didn't answer. He shouted, cursed, accused, and then stopped. That silence was my reply. Tonight was their farewell dinner. They didn't know it yet, but the home they sat in no longer belonged to them. My sister had said she wanted to rebuild the family. They thought I'd forgive, that I'd help, that I'd rescue them once again. Instead, I watched them sip wine they couldn't afford, in clothes they would know much longer, inside walls that weren't theirs anymore. That's when my father raised his glass. And that's when I told them, softly, almost kindly, that everything they dumped on me was now theirs again. The rent, the bills, the insurance. I said evenly, "All yours." My voice didn't waver. "I've transferred ownership back. Everything's legal. You're free to manage your own lives now." My sister frowned. "What do you mean, transferred?" I leaned forward. "The property, the loan, the insurance, they reverted to your names last week. You might want to check your mail." My father froze. My mother's face went pale. They knew. I didn't have to explain the rest. That I'd reported the fraud, that their accounts were frozen, that the house would be seized within days. I just sat there and watched the truth sink in, heavy as stone. My sister whispered, "You ruined us." I smiled faintly. "No, you did." When I left, I didn't look back. The house stood behind me like a ghost, an empty monument to everything they'd taken, and everything I'd reclaimed. Driving past the city line, I finally breathed. My city, my name on the deed, my life, my own. For the first time, the silence around me wasn't suffocating. It was clean, peaceful. They'd raised their glasses to my failure. I raised my life to their ending. And I didn't need applause, just distance. 20 miles was enough.